Here are the 7 levels of Quirks in My Hero Academia. And make sure y'all watch through this one because I have a secret level in here that you'll never guess. With that being said, level 1, Mutation Quirks. Now this level has a huge variety of quirks, and it is possibly the biggest category of this video. Why, you ask? Well, it's because you can have a mutation quirk that's big hands like Kendo, to people like Ida who have exhaust pipes. That completely warps bro's calves.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother?
Another good example for this level, La Brava, who can mutate and buff the abilities of the one she loves. Yeah, she totally counts. Muscular also fits in this level as he's able to warp and, yes, say it with me folks, mutate his body to obtain incredible power. I'd say the weakest character in this level has to be the 4 arms guy Kirishima and Tetsu trained with. Honestly, I think I could take him in a fight, no lie. And then the strongest person in this level definitely has to be Momo. With her powers of creation, bro, she's actually cracked. She can make pretty much anything through her skin, which is definitely an underrated quirk. But the reason it's only level 1 can only be explained by yapping about level 2, eating quirks. Now, eating quirks are powers that activate through ingesting things. Take Fat Gum as an example. His quirk called Fat Absorption allows him to absorb impacts into his body fat, store the kinetic energy, and then release it into a powerful counterattack. And in order to achieve that queso-like physique, he needs to consume at least 3 or 4 mukbangs a day, give or take. Now, as a different reference, Sugar Man has a quirk called Sugar Rush that turns his sweets into steroids. This can make him multiple times stronger. Also, shockingly enough, Stain and Toga both fit in this category, seeing as they consume blood to activate their quirks. Yeah, it's not just food that people eat on this level. And I'd say the weakest quirk in level 2 would be that of Sarumitsu. His power of being able to eat anything is not a bad one, but it is very weak compared to those I've mentioned. And as for the strongest, it's between Stain or Sun Eater, though I lean more towards Sun Eater because his quirk is just so OP, and I honestly believe he could be anybody in level 1. But moving up to the 3rd level, Animal Quirks, and it's just like level 1 as it's a very big bracket of characters. You could literally just have a tail or a horn and that's your whole quirk and you'd be in level 3. But the reason that animal quirks are at level 3 is because of people like Hawks. Well, before he got turned into Wox, the number 2 pro hero has the quirk of red wings that help him fly and can break off to form a sharp sword or just straight up save people. It truly is a magnificent quirk with some very unique abilities. Froppy is another obvious fit for this level, being that she's able to do pretty much anything a frog can. Long tongue, hops far, climbs walls, you name it. Wait, can frogs even climb walls? Well, there you go, you learned something new here. Also, I love how her dad's just a straight up toad with a 9 to 5. Now, Nezu is an interesting case, being that bro was originally an animal that gained a quirk of high specs, aka intelligence. But surprise, surprise, he's an animal with a quirk, so he's in level 3. The weakest quirk here by a landslide is definitely one of the mini civilians, but a more notable person would probably be Anima, because being able to tell animals what to do is a powerful quirk, but compared to Tokoyomi, bro just makes his quirk look embarrassing. In fact, Tokoyomi is probably the strongest character in this level, especially during night, because then he becomes damn near unstoppable. And as for level 4, touching quirks, now this is where quirks really ramp up, because even though this level requires you to touch your opponent or something around them in order to activate your quirk, in most cases it's one touch and then game over. A very good example of this is the quirk Overhaul. Overhaul's quirk allows him to assemble and disassemble matter with his bare hands. Yes gang, that includes living people. by touching them with just a single finger, and he can use this power to instantly kill someone by leaving them dismantled, or he can even heal his wounds by reassembling them. Truly a busted power that trumps at least 90% of the ones we've discussed previously. Now a weaker quirk on this level would probably be Uravity's quirk, Zero Gravity, that allows her to control the gravity of anything she touches, which is still a pretty goated quirk if you train hard enough. It's just among quirks like Overhauls and Shigaraki's, it's kinda lacking a smidge. Sir Night Eye's Foresight also fits in level 4, where when he touches you, he can basically see the future. The only problem is it deactivates once per day, so bro has to be very picky on his quirk use. I think the weakest quirk on this level is Eerie, only because she's still a jit, but give her about, let's say 9 years and she'll be unstoppable. I mean, with a quirk like Rewind, she could literally erase you from existence, twin. And as for the strongest, it's a toss up between Overhaul and Decay, but as you can probably tell, I'm biased. So moving up to level 5, Elemental Quirks. This level holds people with quirks like Lightning, Wind, Vines, and even Explosions. Honestly, I gotta say, this is probably my favorite level, and it's hard to argue differently with people like Cementoss, who can control and build cement-like structures, or Kamui Woods, with his tree branch-like arms that he can use to swing around like Spider-Man. And I can't leave out that wind guy Inusa with his powerful tornado attacks. Boy, I hated fighting him in that My Hero 1's Justice game, you wind spamming piece of shit. Koda and his water ability is no doubt the weakest quirk in this level, and probably other ones if we're being honest. But hey, maybe when he grows up a little bit, his quirk will get stronger. And as for the strongest, come on now, man, you know who it was gonna be. Endeavor, hate him or love him, you can't deny that those flames are unfathomably hot. And then the versatility of his quirk is super unique. Like, I mean, come on, bro pulled up with laser beams. And don't sleep on the Prominence Burn. I think that junk could kill Prime All Might. Next up is level 6, Multiple Quirks. And this is up here so high for obvious reasons. I mean, as rare as it is to have multiple quirks in My Hero, the few who are that lucky have godlike abilities. Take Todoroki for instance. Bro was soloing his classmates with just one quirk, then taking on threats like Stain after using 2. He even packed out his own brother who had some crazy firepower. All Might also kind of fits in this level due to him being a previous wielder of One For All, but more justifiably is Deku, who straight up has like 7 quirks under his belt, making him no doubt the strongest character in this level.
Happy feet, wombo combo. That ain't Falco. That ain't Falco.
You can also achieve level 6 through modifications, like the Nomu, who have their bodies especially built and tweaked to possess multiple quirks. In later seasons, Shigaraki goes through this same procedure that allows him to have multiple quirks, so he is also valid for this bracket. And finally, the weakest quirk at level 6 would probably be Copy. And don't get me wrong, it's still a solid quirk, like being able to mimic multiple powers is very useful. It's just not as powerful as most of the other quirks. And now it's time for the moment you all been waiting for, the secret level, unless you forgot somehow about it. The secret level is level 0. No quirk. This is a bracket I dedicate to the people who have 0 quirks but are still heroes. So special shout out to Knuckle Duster from My Hero Academia Vigilantes. And more importantly, special shout out to All Might, aka Toshinori, who's going band for band with All For One with no quirks. Yeah, you heard me correctly, no quirks. And showing what the indomitable human spirit looks like when it's putting in that overtime. But anyway, the last level of quirks is definitely a league of characters who move completely different in My Hero. But enough stalling, Ty Invincible, you say. Get to the point. What is level 7? Alright, damn, I'll tell you. Level 7, blocking Quirks. Now, having a Quirk in My Hero Academia is a basic necessity to most characters in this anime. So when you deprive them of their quirks, it could get very hectic very fast. Shinzo might seem like he has the weakest quirk in the anime. This is because in order for his quirk to activate, he has to ask you a question and you have to answer it for him to brainwash you. But you see, with the slightest upgrade, he becomes unbelievably broken. With his voice changer, he can make you think that you're talking to your homies, and then bam, you're under his control. Especially if you're pulling up to this hypothetical fade unaware of his abilities. Mind you, Deku had some idea of what his quirk was and still fell for his tricks. With that being said, another quirk blocking character is Aizawa, whose eraser quirk can deem most people useless in a fight. Now undeniably the strongest person in this level is hands down Star. Her quirk, New World Order, literally gives her the ability to touch you and say, yo, you don't have a quirk anymore. And the only reason I didn't put her in the touching quirk level is how weird her quirk works. Like, it isn't only that she has the ability to touch you and something happens, she has the ability to completely destroy your quirk, completely destroy you, or completely rewrite every cell in your body.
Fucking touch me, cunt.
There is definitely no quirk stronger than this one, and I find it absolutely hilarious how they found a way to kill her by using a technicality. If you know, you know. Also, I'd love for you guys to comment a character who you think wouldn't fit in one of these 7 levels. Technically 8 if you count the previous one, but you get what I mean. But before we end this video, I have to talk about this next part. Now, this will probably shock you. No, it'll definitely shock you. But the weakest quirk in this category is unfortunately All For One, but just the quirk alone, because the OG ability of All For One was to take quirks and transfer them to others. So either way, somebody's coming out with that quirk, just not you. It wasn't until bro stole the stockpiling quirk that he was able to farm and become unstoppable. So we really need to find out who gave him that stockpiling quirk, cause bro threw the game. But yeah, there you have it. All For One's first quirk was absolute dog water. Anyways, thanks for listening, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Hopefully you liked this video, but if you didn't, there's plenty of more videos that you'd like. Take this one for instance. But I'm out of here. Peace.